North Korea, a country often thought of as dangerous and secretive, cut off from the outside world. I spent a day exploring Pyongyang's key sites and even took a trip to the countryside where things got a little strange. Are there more planned sites like this? Planned sites, like same greenhouse sites as this?
Maybe.
Yeah. We started the day by visiting some of Pyongyang's most famous sites. We started at the Mansu Hill Grand Monument, possibly the most iconic spot in North Korea. The main feature being the 20-metre bronze statues of President Kim Il-sung and General Kim Jong-il. The site also features two huge statues featuring Koreans rising up to defeat the Japanese imperialists. We then went to the monument to party founding. The monument features a hammer, sickle and calligraphy brush, representing the workers, farmers and intellectuals. It's huge, standing 50 metres high to symbolise the 50-year anniversary of the founding of the Workers' Party of Korea. Lastly, the Juche Tower, which honours the North Korean philosophy of Juche. The tower is made up of 25,550 blocks, one for every day of President Kim Il-sung's life until his 70th birthday. Unfortunately, we couldn't film from the top. I assume it's to avoid filming construction sites around the city. Just arrived at Kim Il-sung's native house, a place where the founder of North Korea was born. Not too sure what to expect. Very kind of significant place in the Korean people's history and in their life. Yeah, one of the most important places in the entire country. There's a lot of us, obviously, as you can see. This is kind of the start of them really trying to get some sort of tourism industry going after the COVID pandemic. So, best behaviour. I think one of the weirdest things about kind of like going to like the attractions and stuff like that here is whenever we turn up, there seems to be a massive amount of Koreans that turn up as well. Obviously, I'm not looking too far into it and thinking, oh yeah, you know, they're making it busy to seem like it's not empty. It does sometimes seem a little bit coincidental though, or it could just be that this is the time that people actually just come to things in North Korea. The only problem is that when you're here, you do find yourself kind of like looking into everything too much, like when there's like a guy on the side of the road, or you know, when there's people kind of hurrying through somewhere where you are, you do kind of think, oh, you know, are they here for this reason or that reason? You can't really ever accept that anything's normal, which is quite a crap kind of point of view, but you know, we have this kind of like idea in our heads of what it's going to be like, and you come at it with an open mind, but it's quite difficult to come at it with an open mind, if you get what I mean. Very peaceful around here. Got some kind of like peaceful Korean music playing. It's really nice. Really nice. The Korean guides explain the importance of the house in Korean history. Unfortunately, you can't go inside the house itself. They also mention that you aren't even allowed to step on the stones leading up to the house. But you can tell that the house has been very well looked after. This is President Kim Il-sung's house, where he grew up and spent obviously a lot of his time with his family. There's still some bits in there that actually were his items and his family's items. President Kim Il-sung is really well known for ending the colonisation of North Korea by the Japanese. They went through kind of a really hard time under the Japanese. It's still definitely something they hold on to and something that they do bring up and talk about. Obviously 5 years after they were liberated from the Japanese, that's when the Americans invaded, which obviously we know is not how it happened. They also actually believe that they won that war, which, you know, we know not to be the case, but kind of put two and two together and make your own assumptions about why they believe those things and why they're taught those things. And that was that. Very brief. Cool, interesting. Nice to know a bit of history. And now we're going to go to a Taekwondo performance, which I'm pretty excited for. The place we're actually staying, Sosan Hotel, is kind of like a sports village. It was built roughly kind of, I believe, at the time when South Korea got the Olympics. Yeah, so I'm assuming it's going to be there. Really cool. The sports village was built in 1989, and a year prior Seoul was about to have the Olympics. There was massive communication negotiations between having North and South Korea both have a joint Olympics. So the buildings you see here were built for that Olympics. Unfortunately, the negotiations broke down and North Korea didn't host any of the sports events. But the buildings are still here. Each building has kind of got a symbol of what sport it's designed for. Can't go into any of them, obviously, other than the Taekwondo building. Not too sure why, but that's just the way it is. Incredible architecture. I think it's 9 sports they were supposed to host, and then yeah, that's where this is the spot where they were supposed to be hosted, and obviously they weren't in the end. Very surreal to just sort of be walking around the streets of Pyongyang. It's kind of like oddly normal, much more normal than you would expect it to be, but very rare opportunity just to be able to wander around. Obviously I know we're only in the sports village, not in the main city, but it's still very unique experience. Crazy as well, because considering like Westerners haven't been here for such a long time, Koreans aren't kind of like reacting how you'd expect them to react when they're cycling around seeing foreigners. Even sort of like China and in Vietnam and stuff like that, you get like constant stares, obviously being a foreigner. Here, people don't seem to care. If anything, I mean, they'll all smile and wave and stuff like that, but as a general kind of like first reaction, they don't have like a knee-jerk shock that a lot of other kind of Asian countries do. No idea why. They can't be used to seeing foreigners. So here we are at the Taekwondo stadium. Really impressive. There's actually another one down the road, but this is the new one. I'm assuming that's probably why we've come to see Taekwondo. Obviously, I guess all the other sports facilities may be a little bit run down, haven't been replaced, but yeah, obviously this one's pretty much brand new. Very impressive.
1442년에 세계 최초의 축구기원 1444
Down at the Taekwondo, pretty cool. Never seen a Taekwondo performance before. It was really impressive. The guys looked a bit battered and bruised at the end of it, but yeah, really sick. Now we're gonna get some food. I think it's a floating restaurant as far as I'm aware, but I'm not 100%, but I'm absolutely starving, so let's get it. When exploring the city, I can't get over how normal it feels. Kids going to school, people going to work and going out to eat. The city is beautiful, the buildings are impressive, and there feels like there's so much to see. Just about to arrive at Taedonggang ship boat restaurant. Didn't really get the name, it was a bit confusing. Try Pyongyang cold noodles. Pyongyang's really known, well, North Korea I think is really known for a very specific type of cold noodles. It's kind of like their iconic dish. Last 2 days just been eating hotel buffet and it's getting a bit boring, so really excited to actually go to the first restaurant in Pyongyang. What's over there? Thank you. Oh yeah, this is nice. Fancy. North Korean boat restaurant. Can't make it up, can ya? Got some snacks, some sort of drinks, a barrel of Heineken, random. Whoa. Wow, look at this setup. This looks nice. Bloody hell. It's amazing. What a strange experience. I'll be honest, I didn't have a clue what the food was, but it was delicious. It was a welcome break from the food at the hotel. The cold noodles were the highlight of the show, but they were very chewy. I don't think it's something I'd have again. There we go. That was a nice meal. It wasn't too bad. Noodles are a bit weird. They're a bit chewy. Apparently they're actually just the speciality of that boat. They're not the speciality Pyongyang noodles that I thought they were going to be. So hopefully there'll be another chance to try them. The rest of the food was really, really good. What a like amazing kind of like gala dinner, I guess. There was so much like entertainment, dancing, singing and stuff. I definitely didn't expect it. Obviously you need to think there's 200 people of us here in these two tour groups, so it's a massive amount of food they need to produce in obviously like such a short period of time. But we're in there for about 3 hours. Now we're actually going to travel outside of Pyongyang, which is really exciting. I get to see some of the countryside, which is obviously where sometimes things can be a bit more sensitive. Go to a greenhouse, no idea what to expect. Apparently it's like a new site, new tourist site where they don't normally let people go. Hasn't really been many Westerners there before. This will be really exciting. I'm really intrigued to see what they grow, I guess, and what they're gonna show us. Driving into the countryside was interesting. I was very surprised that we were allowed to film out of the windows. I've heard plenty of stories of North Koreans closing the curtains on the buses, but other than filming the military, they were completely fine. It was interesting to see how the people in the countryside live and work. So we just arrived at the greenhouse. It's like a massive new development in North Korea. This is one of many that they're going to build. I think it was 264 hectares. It was previously planned to be an airport, but the scale of this place is absolutely huge. Interesting to see what they've actually got growing in there. Hello. Wow, look at all of this. These are tomatoes being grown. Very impressive. So yeah, all types of vegetables grown, vertical farming as well. It's interesting because they made a point of pointing out that this was Kim Jong-un's kind of like idea. And obviously, you know, North Korea's got a history of quite bad famine. She actually said, you know, it was a way of them solving sort of like a vegetable shortage crisis. But I think previously they never really admitted that they had issues with supply. I think in previous times they've sort of said, you know, they've got bountiful amounts of food and lots of things. You know, I guess obviously if this is really what it is and this is, you know, they're actually building loads of these things and it's solving a problem, then of course it's amazing, isn't it? But yeah, sometimes you do kind of question whether true or whether it's something just to kind of cull the rumours of food shortages and, you know, poverty and stuff like that. But it's really interesting.
It's a mixture of stone, smashed stones.
여러 나라들에서 이거 덜 섬유한 원실 재배도 많이 하고 있는데 얼을 분해해가지고 분쇄해가지고 이렇게 재배하고 있습니다.
In other words, it's stone powder.
And it works as a soil.
Nutrients or
다른 용량.
기질이라는 게 자기 용량 물질.
They are the stones from nearby places.
Okay. So they're crushed and then made to
Yeah,
small
they
stones.
crash it and then they powder.
As most people know, North Korea is definitely not kind of like one of the richest countries. They do struggle with supplying enough crops and stuff for their people. And there also is quite kind of like a elitist class that do live in Pyongyang. The people in the rural areas are very well known for being kind of like, you know, having a lot of problems with feeding themselves. We were asking one of the guides whether this was kind of like the solving of that problem, and he pointed out that this food was actually being grown for the people of Pyongyang. So of course they're doing a good thing by growing all of this food, but it's not really being distributed to the right places. So strange. Do we know how many different ones there are?
Different kinds of
Greenhouses and stuff? Yeah.
There are 600 these kinds of greenhouses.
600? Wow.
And also that kind of greenhouses. There are 23.
23, wow. 600. Are there more planned sites like this?
How many plants?
Planned sites, like same greenhouse sites as this?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Portugal. Are you sure?
Too early. Oh.
Thank you very much. I'm now sterilised to North Korean standards. It's very strange to be sterilised, to not be able to go into the room that you're sterilised for. They said that green and purple light is best for growing vegetables. I don't know whether that's true, but they also have a flipping greenhouse tent which is playing music, as it's supposed to make plants grow quicker. I don't know. Funny how when Kim Jong-un came to visit that very greenery, how he sat there with a drink, a fag and an ashtray inside a greenhouse, which is obviously providing vegetables for all the people. Despite me having questions about the reasons of visiting the greenhouse, it was very impressive. The scale of the place is unbelievable, and assuming that everything is how they say it is, then it's a step in the right direction for solving vegetable shortages. Hopefully we get to see more of it in the future. I really enjoyed my day visiting the sites in Pyongyang. Getting to see how the people live and work is one of the main reasons why I wanted to visit the country. Despite me not agreeing with everything said, every Korean I met has an unwavering dedication to their country and leaders, but they are open, polite and happy to discuss things without issue. I'll be giving away some of the souvenirs I purchased in North Korea. Simply like, comment and subscribe to be in with a chance of winning.